Hello and welcome back. These days, it feels like the writers are stirring up a fresh batch of romantic trouble in Port Charles, and I can't help but feel both excited and a little worried for everyone involved. The new storylines seem to be adjusting everything around these budding relationships, creating tensions that could lead to real heartbreak or surprising happiness. I've seen many seasons come and go, but this current wave of possibilities reminds me of the classic eras when love stories drove the drama forward in ways that kept us talking for months. Take Nina and Brennan, for instance. Their connection started in such a dramatic fashion that it almost feels destined. I remember how Nina accidentally injected Brennan in a moment of high stakes, yet chose mercy instead of letting things go further. That kind of intense beginning often blooms into something deeper on this show. Now, with Brennan maneuvering behind the scenes to support Willow as part of his clever plans, I sense the writers are laying groundwork for real romance. In my view, this pairing brings out a softer side of Nina that we haven't seen in a while. She's been through so much loss and scheming. Perhaps Brennan represents a chance for her to find balance. Will they share a kiss this summer? Or even more intimate moments? I think yes, and it could happen sooner than we expect. Their story is adjusting the power dynamics in Port Charles, showing how one unexpected alliance can shift so many lives. Of course, these new romantic adjustments aren't without complications. Every time a new love interest appears, it ripples through the canvas, creating what feels like new disasters waiting to unfold. Nina's growing closeness with Brennan might upset the fragile peace she's tried to build with her family. I've always believed Nina deserves stability after everything she's endured, but soap operas rarely hand out easy happiness. This development proves how one interaction can spark a chain of events that no one sees coming. It's thrilling to watch because it keeps the show feeling alive and unpredictable, just like the best years of General Hospital that I remember from the 80s and 90s. Then there's Lucas and Joe. I know some fans are still guessing about Joe's background, but the way the show has been placing them together in scenes tells me something is definitely brewing. Lucas has carried such heavy burdens lately, secrets involving Britt, Ross, and that whole synthetic chill project that sounds incredibly dangerous. On top of that, he's trying to move past his feelings for Marco. In my long experience with the show, characters like Lucas often find new hope in unexpected places, and Joe seems like the perfect candidate. Their potential romance is one of those adjustments that could bring light into Lucas's complicated world. Will they share a summer kiss? I suspect they will, and it might help Lucas heal faster than we think. But I worry too, those hidden truths could explode at the worst moment. That's the beauty of General Hospital. It makes you root for love even when danger lurks right around the corner. What fascinates me most about these new storylines is how the interactions between these characters are creating fresh layers of risk. Lucas opening his heart again while holding on to major secrets feels like a recipe for trouble, yet it's exactly the kind of heartfelt drama that keeps longtime viewers like me coming back. I've seen similar arcs before, where a new relationship forces everyone to confront their pasts. This time, it seems poised to affect not just Lucas, but those around him in surprising ways. It's a reminder that love on this show is rarely simple, but that's what makes the payoff so rewarding when they finally arrive. And then we have Elizabeth and Dante. Even though Elizabeth is currently involved with Rick, her time and attention keep drifting toward Dante. I've always had a soft spot for Elizabeth. She's one of the strongest women in Port Charles, raising her family through every storm. Rick has a history of self-sabotage, especially when jealousy creeps in, and I fear he might ruin things again. On the other hand, Dante offers that steady presence Elizabeth seems drawn to. In my opinion, this could become one of those fan-favorite pairings we've been waiting for. Their chemistry feels natural, built on years of shared history and quiet understanding. Will Elizabeth give in to temptation and turn toward Dante? I think the signs point that way, and it could happen amid bigger events. This triangle is adjusting relationships across the board, proving how one choice can create new dangers for everyone involved. Speaking of bigger events, all these romantic shifts seem to be building towards something even larger, a wedding of the year that could tie many of these threads together. I've heard whispers in the fan communities and seen the pacing on screen, suggesting a major ceremony is approaching. Weddings in Port Charles have always been turning points, filled with joy, revelations, and yes, sometimes chaos. This upcoming one feels especially significant because of how these new romances are intersecting with established lives. Imagine the tension if Nina and Brennan's spark intensifies right before the vows, or if Lucas finds courage with Joe in the midst of celebration. Even Elizabeth and Dante's potential connection could add unexpected emotion to the occasion. I believe this wedding represents one of the smartest adjustments the show has made lately. It brings together the personal dramas into one explosive gathering, where secrets might spill and new bonds could form. In my years of watching, I've learned that these events aren't just parties, they're catalysts. They force characters to make decisions under pressure, often leading to the most memorable storylines. Will the wedding go smoothly? Or will one of these budding romances create the drama that disrupts everything? I predict a mix of both, with heartfelt moments balanced by shocking twists. That's what makes General Hospital so special. It delivers hope alongside the heartbreak. As I sit down to watch each episode, I find myself reflecting on how these stories mirror real life in many ways. Love doesn't always arrive neatly packaged, and complications often lead to growth. Nina's journey with Brennan shows courage in vulnerability. Lucas and Joe's developing connection reminds me that healing can come from surprising sources. Elizabeth's situation highlights the difficulty of choosing one's true path. These elements make the show feel relevant even after all these decades. I'm particularly impressed by how the writers are balancing multiple romances without making any feel forced. Each has its own flavored dangerous attraction for Nina and Brennan, gentle possibility for Lucas and Joe, and deep emotional history for Elizabeth and Dante. Of course, I have my personal hopes. I'd love to see Nina find genuine happiness without losing her strength. For Lucas, a supportive partner like Joe could be exactly what he needs after so much pain. And for Elizabeth, pairing with Dante feels right, like closing a circle that's been open too long. But I know the show may take different turns, and that's part of the fun. The evidence is there in the careful scene placements, the lingering glances, and the way side plots are weaving in. These aren't random developments. They're crafted adjustments building towards something meaningful. The interactions we're seeing now are creating a sense of danger that keeps the summer episodes feeling electric. One wrong move in these relationships could affect families, alliances, and even larger threats like the projects Lucas is involved with. Yet the show handles it with heart, never straying too far into darkness without offering glimmers of hope. That's why I've stayed loyal all these years. General Hospital understands that viewers over 60, like me, appreciate stories that respect our investment in these characters while still delivering fresh excitement. Looking ahead, I can't wait to see how these new romantic threads influence the wedding and beyond. Will a kiss between Nina and Brennan happen under the stars before the big day? Could Lucas and Joe find their moment amid the festivities? Might Elizabeth make a choice that changes her path forever? Each possibility brings its own thrill. The adjustments happening now are proving that the show remains at its best when it focuses on human connections, the messy, beautiful, complicated kind that make Port Charles feel like home. What strikes me most is how these criminal elements are amplifying the stakes for Nina and Brennan. Their growing connection, born from that dramatic injection incident and Brennan's clever maneuvering to help Willow, now carries an undercurrent of real peril. Brennan's alliances seem to brush against Sidwell and Cullum's operations, and I can't help but wonder if Nina will find herself drawn deeper into that danger because of her feelings. I've seen similar patterns over the years where love blinds characters to threats, yet it also gives them strength. This romance isn't just sweet tension anymore. It's becoming a gateway to bigger confrontations. Will Nina's heart lead her to uncover truths about these crimes? Or will Brennan's secrets put her in harm's way? I believe this pairing will spark part of the explosive expansion, forcing hidden truths into the open during what promises to be a high-drama summer. The situation grows even more layered with Lucas and Joe. Lucas is already guarding heavy secrets about Britt, Ross Cullum, and that chilling project. As his bond with Joe deepens, those concealed crimes are shifting from background worry to a direct threat. Joe represents hope and healing for Lucas after Marco, but the shadow of Cullum's misdeeds looms large. In my experienced eyes, this is classic General Hospital storytelling at its finest, new love colliding with old dangers. The writers are proving their skill by making these interactions feel organic, yet loaded with risk. Lucas's potential summer romance could either help him expose the crimes or pull Joe into the crossfire. This thread alone makes me lean forward in my chair each episode, eager to see how the obsession with justice against Sidwell and Cullum will test their budding connection and contribute to the larger narrative explosion. Then there's Elizabeth and Dante, whose quiet pull toward each other adds yet another dimension to the unfolding troubles. While Elizabeth navigates her current relationship with Rick, her closeness with Dante positions them both near the edges of these criminal investigations. Dante's role often involves protection and truth-seeking, which could draw him straight into targeting Sidwell and Cullum's operations. I personally think this triangle, combined with the crimes, creates one of the most emotionally rich obsessions on screen right now. Elizabeth has always been a pillar of resilience, and pairing her potential romance with Dante against this backdrop feels both hopeful and fraught. Their story might provide the heart amid the chaos, but it could also lead to heartbreaking choices if the dangers escalate. These three romances aren't happening in isolation. They're fueling a broader expansion that feels explosive. The crimes of Sidwell and Cullum are serving as the perfect catalyst, turning personal love stories into high-stakes drama that affects families, alliances, and the entire community. I've always appreciated how General Hospital weaves individual hearts with larger threats. It keeps the show vibrant and relevant after all these years. In my opinion, this new obsession with exposing those crimes through the lens of romance is a brilliant adjustment. It raises the question, can love truly flourish when such darkness is closing in? I think the answer will be a resounding yes for some, mixed with painful lessons for others, leading to powerful payoffs. As these threads build, I find myself reflecting on how they mirror life's own complexities. Love often arrives during turbulent times, testing our characters in ways that reveal their true selves. The interactions between Nina, Brennan, Lucas, Joe, Elizabeth, and Dante are creating ripples that will undoubtedly culminate in major revelations, perhaps even tied to that wedding of the year. The sense of impending explosion keeps the excitement alive, without overwhelming the heartfelt moments that make the show special. I'm optimistic that the writers will balance the danger with tenderness, delivering the kind of summer storytelling that rewards loyal viewers.